Hey, this is the Mount Rushmore podcast. My name is Jeff, and I'm joined as always by my good friends Ricardo
Hello.
and Miguel.
Hola.
This time we are debating, deliberating thoughts about driving while driving. The Mount Rushmore of said. Michael, you chose it. Why?
I have been at my current job for a long time, going on 15 years. So I have been driving, relatively speaking, the same route to and from work for a long time.
Wow.
And
Half your life. Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 22.
Okay, yeah.
So since I was 7,
Oh my God.
I did that math really quickly.
That's
I'm
pretty
so
good,
proud
dude.
of myself.
I didn't even see the fingers going or anything.
Oh.
Is that what you need?
So you kind of get into the zone while you're
Yeah.
driving. Driving, I think I talked about this last week, is something that that needs a lot of your attention. You're looking in front of you, behind you, you're paying attention to everybody at the same time. Yet at the same time, here in LA at least, you're often stuck in traffic, and sometimes it's slow go. And sometimes you just have like long drives, and you're there for a while. And spending so much time in your car, it's a living environment, and you just kind of start not spacing out, but you start thinking about the other people on the road. Why are they doing the things they're doing? Who am I in this car? What am I listening to? Just all the different. There's a lot of stuff that that goes on in your head in your car about being in your car. And I thought, let's see what you guys think.
All right.
And Richard,
scared.
did you feel like you had a handle on this immediately?
No,
You asked for
I did not.
clarification.
In fact,
Okay.
in our little Facebook group that you guys are not a part of, listeners, our little secret cabal, how we make the show, basically. I had to post, I don't know what this is about. I'm lost in the woods on this one. Once Michael explained it to me, felt much better about it.
You fell into place.
Yeah, everything.
And then you realize all the thoughts that you did have. Oh my gosh, I got.
Even just driving over here.
Yeah.
I changed one of them.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So there we go.
Wow, so that is one of them. Thoughts about driving while driving.
was one of my thoughts.
Okay.
About that I had while driving.
All right, well, give us your first one you want to share with us.
All right, my first one is, you know what? I might like being a truck driver.
Whoa. I like that.
So I do a lot
Honk,
of.
honk, my friend.
I have done a lot of long distance drives.
Big
in my
Red
life.
Richard.
Yeah, you get that the
Got the
truck driver's tan with
Tan
just
on
the
the one
left
arm.
arm. Yeah.
Half of your face is melted off like a meal from RoboCop.
So I've done a lot of long distance drives over my life. Whether it was driving.
Doom, 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 doom. Keep going.
You start saying convoy. Whether it's going to my home near Fresno from LA, or my wife's home in San Jose, or where her mom lives now in Tucson.
Sure, yeah.
Or God knows how many Vegas trips I've done over the years. And I don't mind it. I have no problem. I can drive for 4 or 5 hours, 7 hours, 10 hours straight without feeling like, boy, I am wiped.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone hits the wall at some point, but I even
Don't put that on your application to be a truck driver. Everyone hits a wall at some point. so like, it's fine.
Richard, up until just a second ago, I thought you was material for Covenant Trucking, but nope.
trucking. I just, even when I'm driving by myself, because a lot of those trips I take with the family, which is we've talked about on the show, the episode where we talked about road trips.
Oh, yeah.
So this is more kind of the solo driving experiences that I've had. And, I know that driving a big rig is about 20 times harder than driving my Kia. I understand this.
Yeah.
I've seen Over the Top, and
If that kid,
he teaches him to drive a truck in like 22 minutes.
if Lincoln Hawk or Hawk's kid,
He does teach Michael Hawk/Hawks to drive it in 15 minutes. Although he is like kind of a quasi West Point graduate, so he's a smart kid too.
yeah, that's true. Maybe he has more on the ball than I would have. But I do feel there are times where I have felt like, maybe I would just enjoy being out on the open road.
Yeah.
Just spending 4 or 5 days out hauling stuff and then come back and get a week off or whatever. That could be great.
Yeah.
Which class of arm wrestling would you be in? Would you be in like the junior?
I think I'd be in junior heavyweight.
Junior
technically.
heavyweight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I love this.
What is? Do you see these gentlemen in the truck stop eating the horrible food or blowing
Yes.
up the porcelain, or like? Is there something about the lifestyle?
Getting a blowy from
The lot lizard.
no, that's not. I don't think it's the lifestyle. The lifestyle would actually be something that would probably be a deterrent.
Okay.
And in all seriousness, I know people whose like parents were truck drivers.
Yeah.
And they didn't see their kid. You know, you'd go couple of weeks without seeing them, and then they'd see them for like 4 or 5 days, and then they'd be back off for another 2 weeks. Seems like a hard way to have a family.
Yeah.
Do you think this is something I know nothing about? Do you think the interior of the big rig cab is so vastly improved from what one imagines it from the 70s and when Convoy and
Your orangutan was in the sleeping in the back.
Well, I'm assuming now. Assume that I have an orangutan.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm going to be a truck driver.
Oh, you got to give us a fun sidekick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least a fun dog with a cowboy hat on or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I imagine that just the interior of a truck is just so much vastly improved and much more comfortable. And like,
Oh, sure. Even the
navigation and all that stuff must make it like a much, I'm not going to say easier thing, but it's probably a little bit more a comfortable ride. Than,
you have microwave. You have like plugs that you can plug stuff into, so you can have like a microwave or a little mini cooler or refrigerator, stuff like that. You've got DVD players, so you can watch your DVDs. I guess now probably people are just watching Netflix on their phones, but I would imagine that it's easier to pass the time than it was 30 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Winfield.
My first driving thought is the best car to drive behind or to have drive behind you is your exact make, model, and year of car. Because you know the type of person that is in that car because they have chosen that car. They're not like driving up on you. Or if you're in like a Mercedes, whatever the car is, and that person's trying to cut through traffic and you have a Mercedes, whatever, most likely you're trying to do the same thing.
Okay.
If you're driving a Hyundai Elantra GT, little hatchback car like me, my best friend is someone else in a Hyundai Elantra GT because I'm in their headspace. I know their sensibilities when they're buying a car. Mm-hmm. They're driving 65 to 68 miles an hour on the freeway.
Yeah.
They're not cutting. I know this person.
Okay.
That's the kind of person I want in front of me. That's the kind of person I want in back of me.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
So
That's very novel.
What happens if you're driving a car that you don't particularly like? Is like when we were a 2 PT Cruiser family.
Sure.
Whoa, I didn't know. Did I know you then?
I don't. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, your
played
collar was
kickball.
popped to that all the time.
That's true.
They had 2. They were part-time cruising, but it equals 1 full-time
Oh,
cruising.
full-time
it's like
cruiser.
having 2 part-time jobs.
An FT cruiser.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did not particularly like the car, but it was the only thing we could afford at the time that was big enough for like family shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that in that specific case, I don't think that would have worked because all I know is there's probably another sad bastard in that PT Cruiser who's just really disappointed in where things are going.
I don't know. I guess I didn't.
So if you're driving what was that Honda Aztec? What was that really ugly thing that looked like a shoe?
Yeah, it was the Aztec.
Yeah, those cars you would say, "Oh, you're suicidal too. Let's plow head on into each
The
other."
Del Sol.
I think
the Del Sol. Yeah,
The people who want the convertible but also hate themselves. Yeah.
Like if you have making the life choice to buy a smart car, and you're driving behind another smart car, you know what that person's in for. You know that their speed is. You know what they aren't or aren't. They're not hauling family in it. They're
Big Mama's and Big Papa's pizzas.
it's them and that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And I think that there is a certain mentality to the type of car you drive, at least when you have a more
car that
choice
yeah.
or something like that. Because let's say I'm driving down the freeway and there is like a big F-150 truck that is just driving way too fast for the time of day right behind me. And it just feels like, man, if there's someone in another Hyundai Elantra, they're not doing this.
Yeah.
I just pass me at this point.
Right.
Let's end the charade.
Okay. And Freddie, what's the second one?
All right. My second one is, shouldn't there be an age limit on driving? Like some sort of max? I don't want this to turn into an 80s stand-up bit.
Yeah.
But when I'm on, and I'm not someone who speeds particularly or is an aggressive driver. But when you get stuck behind the person who can barely see over the steering wheel at this point, with the Coke bottle glasses, and they're going 20 miles under the speed limit and kind of swerving,
They're impaired.
Exactly. They are not the same versions of themselves as they were the last time they took the driving test.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Yeah. Do you think they have a relative who is hoping that they will soon meet their demise and
they're trying to encourage them to drive to try and collect insurance money?
Some
Is that
kind
what you're
of
saying?
yeah.
Possible.
Okay.
I think it's more likely that they don't have anyone. Otherwise, they would have somebody driving them
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
I think there's also a certain internal stubbornness, and I think one gets to a certain age and they want their own independence, and this refusal to give it up. You know?
I'm driving myself to the pornography store.
To buy some pornography.
What's a pornography? I don't need to take a lift.
Very Homer Simpson of you. You know, if you've been driving for 60 years of your life and all of a sudden you're not driving as well, but the removal of that takes away a mobility and it takes away a certain sense of freedom and independence. I'm sure it's just like you're holding on to it like you're holding on to the steering wheel. Because I know that like my grandfather went through this. He's 93 or 4 now, and I know that he hasn't been driving for a number of years, but I think it was very hard for him to give it up, even though he eventually had to have like cataract surgery and all that stuff too. It's like you get to a point where you just can't anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably hard.
Well, and look, I'm general. We're generalizing on these topics, right? I mean, I know people are in their 70s or even 80s who are probably better drivers than me, almost guaranteed. But
another thing on his big rig application,
Not
there
a
are
good
other
driver.
people that are better drivers
There
than
may be
me.
90-year-old
He
men.
drives in a wall. 80-year-olds are driving better than me.
yeah, really, really selling myself here.
Look, you've given us a lot of red flags, but we really need guys right now.
Do you do speed?
Yeah.
The answer is maybe.
Maybe. All right.
I'm not sure which one you want me to answer, but hey, the point is that we're generalizing. We're making generalizations here, but more often than not, when you see someone over a certain age, there may be some issues with them driving.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think they would also might not even know, or they be in denial about it?
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's the part that's a little bit scary. Let's make a pact. If the three of us get to the point where the other two of us know we shouldn't be driving, let's say something. Let's as friends. Let's be there for each other.
Give me your car keys permanently.
Wait, right now?
Yeah, right now. Okay, Winfield.
This is something that happened that I think about often. Is it kind of goes back to like driving the same route to work every day or driving home, and at some point you kind of start trying to find a quicker route home. You start getting off the freeway at a different exit halfway through, trying to outsmart the freeway.
The commute, yeah.
It's kind of like you're trying to self-waze your way around it, and it's never quite right. You're always faster, and it's always more convenient just to stay on a singular path than try to, I believe our good friend Scott Jones described it as jazz driving.
He does.
Scott does a lot of jazz driving out there, trying to get from one place to another, trying to just be slightly faster. If you're arriving at 7:41 or 7:43, the 2 minutes that you have saved in your life does not make you more productive. It just means you've gotten someplace 2 minutes faster. But I know that especially for him, who's a constantly late person, maybe you're just trying to make up time.
Right.
But I don't know. I always find myself thinking about it, I did for a number of years. Like, well, if I got off here, I could go over the thing and around, and that would be a little bit faster. I can get back on this way.
Do you feel like Waze is trying to kill you?
No.
By making you make left turns, unprotected left turns onto major roads and trying to go straight across like Ventura Boulevard without a light.
I don't know. I don't use Waze anymore because I found that I was just
because
getting
it's trying to kill you.
Because I was just getting more and more confused in an area that I don't know, And I don't do very well in areas that I don't know, trying to find a street and catch it at the right time. And then it becomes like, couldn't you have just...
Have you had...
I'm fine with the 4
I
extra
might have
minutes.
had the same commute you and Scott had. If you've had a commute that is parallel to the 101,
Yeah.
if you're on Riverside,
Sure, yeah.
looking at the 101 the whole time, and I see, okay, Blue Honda and I are in pace with each other, but now I'm behind Blue Honda, or now I'm ahead of Blue Honda. I remember thinking when I was doing that getting on or off the 101 was a good thing at some point, but in trying to hack it. But otherwise, yeah,
That's what it is. It's a hack. You're trying to hack the freeway system to, you know the right way to go.
oh yeah,
You've driven this long enough that you know if you get off on Coldwater and cut across, it's better than getting off on Laurel Canyon because of the light, that one light.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, no, it's never good.
My old boss had a theory about this, which at first I thought he was just being paranoid and kind of nuts about it. But the more I think about it, the more sense it makes. His theory was that Waze will purposely send you on really weird routes because they're trying to get information about how long does it take if somebody goes here, 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 and here. So we're going to send you on that, and you're going to be basically the guinea pig. So we can collect enough data so that we can then have Waze make the right decisions.
The Waze thing always bothered me too because it was so much interaction with your phone while you were driving.
Yeah.
Like reporting things while you're moving on your phone that leads to a collision.
yeah.
That seemed like
Might as well just report a collision that's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm striking a car right now as I'm telling you where I'm
I
striking
heard
a car.
people who are in residential areas that are impacted by Waze putting up fake
Like for residential street only type stuff.
or putting up fake cop stop or like speeding or construction zones or things
Right.
to make people stop driving in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like our street here, the
You put up that fake cemetery
Rushmore,
to scare people away.
the fake
all the
tombstones and
ghosts.
everything. Yeah. We're on a very well-trafficked avenue, and if I had Waze, I think I might put up like construction or something and try to get people to not go down it. Halftime is where we are, and this is the time when I implore you to go back, download, rate, and review our past episodes on Apple iTunes, podcast thingy, and Spotify and iHeartRadio. Do us a solid, let people know that you liked it, and let people know about it by talking about it on the internet. You could even share your thoughts on what future episodes would be good for us to tackle on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Those would be good places to share those things. We are in our new year. You are in your new year too, but we would love your ideas for future episodes. Past episode suggestors have been past podcasts. Oh, I almost said that correctly. Participants. Podcasts. Oh my God. Oh, I wish I had a podcat. That would be so cute.
Podcats, the Cats, the musical
Cats
podcast.
musical. Oh, so disturbing. So sexual. So do that. We would appreciate it. We didn't know what our next episode's going to be.
No, I don't have
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yet.
Could be yours.
Could be yours, the one you suggest.
We're trying to be more
Podcasts.
spontaneous is something that
Yeah.
someone who should be doing the scheduling says
Yeah.
to get out of saying why we don't have the next episode scheduled.
Okay, so let's finish this episode. Let's get too far ahead of ourselves. So this would be Bloop.
All right. So the next choice is
You're not Bloop. You're Richard.
What is happening?
I'm sorry.
Mr. Bloop, please go
Mr.
ahead.
Bloop.
He was wearing a blue shirt.
That Mr. Bloop was my father's name.
Please. Call me Conrad.
Mr. Bloop killed my mother. You son of a bitch.
Oh, sorry.
My next choice is wait. What was that noise? Maybe again, this is me having driven 2 PT Cruisers in my life, but I am forever paranoid about like something is going to break on the car at any second.
Was a PT Cruiser not a quality vehicle?
No, it was not.
Really?
It was a piece of shit.
Oh.
If we ever do one of Ryan Love's, our friend and former guest, one of his suggestions was shitbox cars. I can guarantee you which one is going to go on mine.
Oh.
So, and maybe it's just because for a long time, what we were able to afford were like kind of these secondary sort of like used sort of cars. So anytime I'm driving and I hear like a thump or some sort of like anything that sounds like it's outside of the normal sounds you would hear or expect to hear.
That's your conscience.
Uh,
The telltale glove compartment.
Telltale bump. And so maybe I'm just having spent enough thousands of dollars on car repairs at this point in my life. I'm just always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Mm-hmm. So the CV joint to drop. And so anytime a check engine light goes on, it's, oh, well, there we go. That's going to be $1,000. Yeah. Even if it's like the gas cap was loose, is what it turns out to be. So I'm just
so traumatized.
It's very much a PTSD situation when it comes to me and cars.
Yeah. Well,
a PTSD.
Oh,
wow.
There you go.
Have you been healing?
We put the PT in PTSD.
How long have you not had the junker?
Probably about 4 or 5 years.
Okay, and so you're still not out of that.
No, I think once it's almost like a mindset at one point, and once you get into it, it's kind of hard to like train yourself to get out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm constantly always paranoid about just that something is going to go wrong, and God forbid I hear something like that's out of the ordinary. That convinces me that's what that is, and then I will spend the next 2 weeks trying to replicate that sound again.
Yeah. Okay, Winfield?
My next choice is there should be some sort of standardized flashing light communication protocol between cars. Because I want to make driving easier, have simpler communication, maybe saying thank you. There's really no flashing lights for saying thank you for whatever they've done.
You're suggesting semaphore or some sort of
car light flashing, maybe if there's two buttons that operate the individual lights on either side. I spent a lot of time thinking about this, obviously, on either side of your car, and you just learn the language. Maybe saying thank you, maybe saying, okay, let's swap lanes at the same time. Someone's in the number 3 lane, and they want to go to the number 2, and you're the number 2, want to go to 3, and you just like coordinate, synchronize, lane swap. Beautiful. Or maybe you just want to tell the person that, listen, I've got 4 coffees in my front seat and a little holder, and I'm driving a little slowly, so just give me a break if I'm, not up to your
coffee
speed.
on board.
Coffee on board.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but I would love that because there's nothing.
Better way. We can tell when we're mad at each other. You could be like
horn and
the
finger.
horn. Yeah.
There's no if you give a thumbs up to somebody, they're going to assume you're being sarcastic.
Yeah. The closest we have to any sort of communication is like you're driving and someone's coming and it's nighttime and someone's coming towards you and you give like the little flash of the lights to let them know that their lights are off and they don't know. And the greatest feeling is as you see them pass you in like the rear view mirror, that their lights go on, you're like,
what a hero.
Yeah.
What a hero you are.
I saved that person's life.
Well, I would say the other thing is if you're trying to like get in to get over somewhere and a person lets you over, give the little wave. That's the other communication that can happen.
There could be a lights, but a standard light thing that you can just like you're driving, just like I did it. Thank you.
So I'd like to point out that you think that using Waze takes up too much of your focus, but you would like to have this complex system of hitting buttons and lights that you have to translate.
Your hands are on the steering wheel.
But then you have to look at it and be like, okay, what is 2 dots and a line on a dash on the right?
It could even be voice activated.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Sure, that sounds good too.
Yeah.
Like how the taxis in Vegas have like the little like marquees. You could just sort of, maybe you can just speak whatever you want to say and then it would pop up.
Yeah.
As soon as like all of our cars are attached to the 5G, network, and we're all communicating and synced up to the cloud, and I can just say, Civic in front of me.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then they just get the little scroll that says thank you, and you're just like.
I was thinking until we get the driverless cars, it's going to be a long time, right? It's going to be 20 years probably before that's all prevalent. Do you think?
Sure. I think it's not something that's going to happen tomorrow.
But why aren't we communicating better with each other, especially like navigation systems that require you to enter in landmarks or caution things? Like when I lived in Minneapolis, if there was some way to signal where black ice was on the road, that would have been a lifesaver. If there was some way, something in the middle of your if you were going to hit the horn anyway, if you hit it lighter, just tapped it lighter, would that be able to indicate or send some information up to a satellite that sends it out to everybody else in the world?
There's something that we're like, that's there.
Yeah.
There is an easy communication, two lights flashing and oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Or like whatever it is. I think there's an easy thing to do within the realm of what we already have rather than waiting for technology to catch up to it.
Agreed.
So, you language scientists, get on it.
Get on it.
Come on, linguists.
All right, Ben Freddy, your last one.
My last one is, hey, look at that dog. Because I can be having the shittiest day possible, and I'm in my car, and I'm pissed off, I'm really depressed, I'm really down about something. And I see a big golden retriever with its head out the window.
Yeah.
With the wind blowing in its face, and it's just tongue sticking out.
Nothing better than a dog in a car.
I'm feeling pretty good all of a sudden.
I'm so happy this dog was in the car, not out in the freeway.
I will have to say that there is a size of the dog. There's a part where the dog sticking its head out of the window does become nerve-wracking. The tiny dogs, I'm like, what are you doing?
Sucked out the window.
Wind comes along and
yeah. Or there is that corollary, which is that dog's going to run out.
Yeah.
We had a friend of ours whose dog got out recently, was driving in a car, and the dog just sort of got spooked by something and jumped out the window, I think, and took off. So I do worry about this.
Yeah.
But I less worry about it and more just sort of have my heart warmed by seeing how happy a dog can be. There's nothing happier than a dog in a car.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's wonderful. But if you blow in their face, they get upset.
That's true.
What's so weird?
Dogs.
All right, Winfield.
My last one is the person that you want to get a ticket for speeding or tailgating or driving like a maniac never will.
Yeah.
But if you have a broken tail light or a light that needs to be replaced, you are getting pulled over immediately. There is no avoiding it.
Yeah.
The cops will sit on a easy $50 fix-it ticket, but you never see the person that's just speeding through, and you're just get them.
Yeah.
Get them. I thought of this recently, I guess semi-recently, where, Richard, you pointed out that I had a tail light out in my car, and I didn't get it fixed immediately. I didn't get a ticket, but I was so constantly thinking about it until I did that I was just expecting it every moment. I was just oh my God, the cops are going to get me.
Yeah.
Oh no,
I'm so worried.
I've got a brake light out in my car right now.
Yeah.
I'm kicking myself that I didn't get it fixed this weekend because I'm sure I'm going to get a ticket. 100%.
But the person, there's going to be someone that zooms by you at 80 miles an hour on the side street that you're God, get them.
Yeah, get
Where are
that
the
dude.
cops to get that guy?
Yeah.
One time that happened where I actually saw, and this was going on
beautiful.
on the Grapevine, where we saw somebody zoom past us and almost cut us off, and it's a little racy sports car doing 100. And then about 5 miles later, we saw a cop on the side of the road, and they got him. I was just it was such a cathartic feeling. Yes. Sometimes the system works.
And I don't know if I'm just a goody rule follower that just I don't want to risk it. And now that I have a child too, all of my any sort of expectation that I will speed has been dropped to nothing. It's just oh no, what is the point?
Yeah.
But there's always some guy driving way too fast, and you're just get him. Somebody. Where
For me, the speeders, I almost feel like the speeders are going to get what's coming to them eventually, but it's the people you just want to drive in front of you and cut you off to go to wherever. They act like they're clueless. They pretend to be clueless to the people at the front.
Yeah.
Who they're trying to cut in front of to get to the on-ramp, off-ramp. What do you call that? Not illegal merging, or what is it? Where the
Being
person
an asshole.
They're not waiting in line to do the thing.
they're not zippering
They're cutting.
properly.
Yeah, they're cutting ahead to get ahead of those few people.
There is that really nice feeling though, is when someone's been speeding up and trying to get around you, and then they're in a lane next to you, and then you go ahead of them.
Oh
You
yeah.
feel
Yes.
round one to me.
Yes.
Take that.
All right, dudes. This is going to be totally arbitrary.
Well, I'm glad we've got him to
To admit it finally, yeah.
I kind of, this was an interesting thing to start off with. The best car to drive behind you is you, because it made me, this most existential thing I've heard in a long time. Like, you find your car equivalent and you should go drive in front or behind them. That's fascinating to me.
I think about it all the time.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
I want to see a snake of like a half-mile convoy of Toyota Corollas because everyone realizes this at the same time.
This is the best. This is the way. Shouldn't there be an age limit on driving? That would make the world safer. I also really like, hey, I might like to be a truck driver.
I love that, Dave.
Because that's what's on the brochure, I think, in the truck driver hiring.
When you call the number, the 800 number, it says, hey, you want to be a truck driver?
Howdy, friend.
I'm Chet Atkins.
What the hell? Chet Atkins.
He's been
Guitarist Chet Atkins.
He's been dead for 20 years.
And then the person you want to get caught never gets caught. Because that's at the end of the existential quandary. It's like really
just
recognizing your fate. Yeah. This has been the Mount Rushmore beep beep.
Truck driver Richard over here. Come back,
Who
good.
doesn't?
Come back, good buddy.
Who doesn't want to have the horn?
Yeah.
Control the horn. Who wouldn't want that?
That's isn't that an engineer thing? Though we're doing that like that's an engineer.
Yeah.
That's an engineer's horn. The pulling down, let it be known
Okay.
that Richard and I are both pulling down an imaginary string, right?
Right. I don't know if that's actually how it works.
You don't think the truck driver has like a...
anymore in 2020?
He's got like a button on his
It's got to be a
steering wheel.
button or something. that
Or
you
it's
can-
Bluetooth.
Or he just thinks it.
He just thinks it. I, as always, am Jeff.
I'm Richard.
I'm Michael.